जब मैं भाग गया वहाँ से तो मैं 9 तालिबान के साथ बाइक्स पे बैठ के hitchhiked through the country and came back. I was in the middle of Afghanistan in a province called Uruzgan. My kidnapper used to tell me, मैं पीछे से तुम्हारा सर काटूंगा जाके तुम्हें end तक feel होए. And I saw it then with my own eyes. You know, I was in a drone strike which killed Abu Yahya Libi, and I was the only survivor. There was a woman who literally walked out of a room as smaller than this and blew herself up. मुझे एक बार याद है मैं रो के दुआ कर रहा था. और मेरे किडनैपर ने मुझे कहा कि मुझे बदुआएं तो नहीं दे रहे, तो मैं हंसना शुरू हो गया बिकॉज ही टॉर्चर्ड मी. सो सडनली आई सी दीज SWAT cars, literally this is not Dolphin, this is not anything we've seen. The guys, like whoever saves us when, like, you know, the aliens come, and there were 2 colonels and they high-fived each other, and they were with their, one was an MI, one was an ISI guy, and they're different. So the MI guy called his boss, this guy called his boss, and they both told them that we've recovered the guy. So I kind of came from behind the seat because I was in the middle, and I was like, recovered, and they're like, they looked and they're like, you're a tough guy. Assalamu alaikum. Mera naam Shahbaz Taseer hai, and please watch me with Ahmed Ali Butt on Excuse Me. Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम ख़वातीन व हज़रात, एक और एपिसोड एक्सक्यूज़ मी विद अहमद अली बट. एंड I've been very fortunate to have some extraordinary people on my opposite seat. कुछ से मैं सीखता हूँ, कुछ से मैं लड़ता हूँ, कुछ से मैं बहस भी करता हूँ, लेकिन कुछ के मैं सिर्फ इन ऑ होता हूँ. और जहाँ इन ऑ की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, he's hardly half my age, but the journey he's been through, and alhamdulillah he's going to have a long journey, is no short of a miracle. He's achieved in his life adversity beyond belief. And aaj still he's standing, and he's standing headstrong. He is hailing from a very proud family of Pakistan. But what defines him is his strength and his ability to move on and to live and to achieve what his family and his father's legacy stood for this country. I don't have more words to define what he's been through. बट अल्लाह ना करे कि हम में से किसी को ऐसा मौका देखना पड़े. आज वो अपनी ज़बानी सुनाने आए हैं, एंड आई एम श्योर यू हर्ड मोस्ट ऑफ इट. शहबाज तासीर, हाउ आर यू?
Thank you. That was a very kind introduction. Thank you.
No,
and I'm just I was telling you off as well. This is for me, this is amazing. It's very like nostalgic to be here with you. And
last time I saw you, you were this height.
Yeah, and I followed you since I was very small.
इससे एकदम अंदाजा होता है कि मैं कितना बूढ़ा हो चुका हूँ.
No, but you know, you were, I think you were a teenager as well. I was a young teenager, and you were, you know, 16, 17, and you were a rock star, man. So it was awesome. You know, back then the scene wasn't like what it is now. It was very analogy, and you had to buy the ticket, go to the show, see the guy if you liked him, and we had your you know, the tapes and stuff. So this is cool. This is ab to kuch bhi nahi.
I'm lost everything. I'm very good friends. Most of my time hum log ka ek gang hota tha, and your sister was very close to us, and we've been to your house. मगर उस टाइम पे हम लोगों को पूल की एक्सेस बड़ी कम होती थी, तो हम लोग वहाँ छलांगे मारने के लिए जाया करते थे. एक ही हमारी कूल दोस्त थी जिसके घर में स्विमिंग पूल होता था. सनम वाज द वन. But today I'm actually blessed, and I'm actually very honored that you're sitting next to me. I read half of your book. इससे पहले मेरी बेगम ने वो ले ली थी. I'm still trying to complete it, but most of the thing I've read, one thing that stood out, and I'm going to ask you, we're going to start from that. I think the book is about loneliness. It's about what I took from it, because it's a very graphic book. And the book we're talking about is The Lost to the World. It's out, and I think it's not accessible anymore.
It's a difficult book to get. It's sold out, and it keeps
there are no pictures in it, and it's sold out.
Yeah, there are a few graphic pictures of me. It's a very graphic book. I'm a very graphic person. But the good thing is that it keeps getting sold out, which I'm not going to be upset about. I was a little upset in the beginning, and I've been told that, listen, you need to behave, and this is a good thing. But I'm happy that people want it.
वो कौन सा time था when you said, okay, I want to write a book?
So when I was in captivity, I built up the courage to go to my kidnapper and ask him if I could keep a diary. And the diaries got, they became like, 5-6 volumes, and
अच्छा access था for paper and pencil you have?
just a notebook and a pen. वो दे देता था. But yeah, so I built up the courage to ask him for these, and then I used to write. I used to think that he would check on like क्या लिख रहा है, क्या बोल रहा है, and for me it became a window into my past, into my present, into what I wanted from my future.
Yeah.
But it was really funny because the more I used to write, and I would spend maybe 2-3 hours a day writing, he would never ask me, and I was always curious why. And then one day he's like, क्या लिख रहे हो? तो I was like, आज के दिन के बारे में और back story भी compile कर रहा हूँ.
Yeah.
तो he goes, मेरे बारे में कुछ बुरा तो नहीं लिखा?
अच्छा, उसको पढ़ना आता था?
Yeah, वो बहुत पढ़ा. He was a mufti. He was a
अच्छा,
mufti from
most
Karachi.
of your interviews you talked about कि they were all very educated people. कोई engineer था, तो कोई इस university में था.
In the hierarchy, so presume if there are 10 layers to a group,
Yeah.
The top 4 are very highly educated. And the thing is, अगर आप मुफ्ती, काजी, मौलवी हो, not नाम से, but actually qualification से, it's a very difficult process. And so I think even to become a mufti, and मैं गलत चीज़ नहीं कहना चाहता, मगर हज़ार से 5,000 से 10,000 किताबें, as in from mufti, qazi, maulvi, whatever the final stage is.
It's like graduating.
Yeah. So if you can read that much and be tested on that much, you are educated, kind of. So yeah, so they are very educated. The other thing is that their education is on one side, it's say religious based education. Unki training bhi hoti hai, which is for example, they'll spend 2-3 hours training with weapons in a combat scenario. They will learn 6 or 7 weapons each. They start learning this from the age of 6. For example, Kalashnikov jo hoti hai, I learned how to put a disassemble and assemble one, right?
Wow.
But I learned it with kids under obviously their supervision.
Yeah.
But the kids are faster than the adults in doing it. And so the younger you start, it kind of becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
You know, so they wear it all the time. At 13, जब वो बालिग हो के मदरसे में fighting age में आते हैं, तो they're given the gun. Now this is not a Pashtun thing. You know, a lot of people think ये Pathan culture है. So this has got nothing to do with that. And I was with Uzbeks. तो ये भी बड़ा ज़रूरी है समझने के लिए. This is a militant thing. So the training, the education and training starts very, very young. But training is a very, very serious part of their routine as well. So I don't know, हमारी दुनिया में वो मुझे कहते थे पहले, क्योंकि मेरा दीनी इल्म नहीं था, तो वो मुझे कहते थे कि तुम पढ़े लिखे जाहिल हो. तो जब मैंने दीनी इल्म acquire किया, तो उसके बाद वो मुझे I used to find them jahil, because I could debunk or hack kind of their theories, which I felt उनकी foundations गलत थी. Which then made me wonder कि अगर उन्होंने 10,000 किताबें भी पढ़ी हैं और उनको पता नहीं कि वो किस चीज़ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, और मैंने तो सिर्फ 10 किताबें पढ़ी हैं, बट लॉजिक मुझे ये बता रहा है, तो ये educated. Sorry for dragging it on.
No. But one thing जो मुझे किताब से थोड़ा सा feel हुआ, you're talking about a lot of unlearning also at the same time. I don't know if you've seen The Last Samurai.
I have, yeah.
You have, na?
You do, yeah.
Somehow those elements came about, okay, captiveness, because he was from a modern world, and how you unlearn the whole process and everything. And most of the times, when even right now you're talking about them, one thing you can't help notice is how proud and how stern they are about their beliefs.
Yeah.
Or almost like...
also blind.
Yeah. Blind.
With passion. Not exactly with stupidity, but passion.
But in a way, and this is just me talking about, in a way you talk about them as if you're also praising them for that, as much as you went through all that torture. Magar mujhe lagta hai ki in a way you're very clear about कि हाँ यार ये उनकी एक चीज़ थी जो मुझे बड़ी clear थी कि हाँ they're very stern about these things, they're very stern about who they are, where they come from and all that. And you made it very clear that the people who kidnapped you were completely different from where you were kept.
Yeah.
And somehow they had more compassion.
Yeah. Just to explain a little bit, so the people who kidnapped me were Uzbeks.
Yeah.
And when they went to war with the Taliban towards the end of my story, the Afghan Taliban.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, living with the Afghan Taliban for not such a long period, but 6 months under, say, in their jail, so under their system, I can't say if I praise them, but I do understand them, and I also think that a lot of people don't understand them. A lot of people have actually zero understanding of them. तो मैंने ये पाकिस्तान में बड़ा देखा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लोग कहते हैं इमरान खान तालिबान को सपोर्ट करते हैं. दैट्स नॉट ट्रू. इमरान खान तालिबान को नहीं सपोर्ट करता. इमरान खान अफगानिस्तान में उनके जो भी लोग हैं, they called the Taliban, yes, but it's such a weird word to use because they're a government and they function as a government. They don't function, जैसे मैं आपको ग्रुप का बता रहा था, they don't work like the Uzbeks, they don't work like Al-Qaeda, they don't work like Lashkar-e-Jang. They have, and it's provincial as well, right? And the coordination is federal, say. It's almost like saying the Pakistan army or the Pakistan government system is a terrorist group. It's not. It's a government.
Yeah.
It's a functioning government. एक बंदा जाता है, दूसरा आ जाता है, ये होता है, इलेक्शंस होते हैं, उधर शूरे लगे होते हैं, अपॉइंटमेंट्स होती हैं, एक पूरा सिस्टम चल रहा है. अब मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. जब मैं भाग गया वहाँ से, तो मैं 9 तालिबान के साथ बाइक्स पे बैठ के I hitchhiked through the country and came back. I was in the middle of Afghanistan in a province called Uruzgan. तो उधर से वापस बलोचिस्तान आना was a game.
Yeah.
But along the way, हमें खाना, पेट्रोल, सेफ्टी और सोने की जगह was given on a पर्ची सिस्टम.
अच्छा.
तो जो उन 9 बंदों के बीच कमांडर था, वो जहाँ भी जाता था वो एक पर्ची साइन करता था और बेसिकली उसका मतलब ये था कि जब इमारत आएगी तो आपका कर्जा वापस होएगा. अब मैं 2016 की मार्च की आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ और ये 2002 के पता नहीं कब से सिस्टम चल रहा है. 15-16 years this has been going on. And the people who are giving this privilege are not Taliban. They're Afghan.
Afghans.
And वो ये privilege इन लोगों को दे रहे हैं because of a certain belief in them. And this is not me praising them or believing in them. Like मैं तो कहता हूँ कि अगर पाकिस्तान में ये नहीं होना.
Just that who they are.
Yeah, this is the reality of Afghanistan. So when Imran Khan, they say the Taliban, he is basically saying कि जो उधर की reality है उसको accept करो. Right? That doesn't mean कि तुम उस reality को अपने लिए accept करो. पाकिस्तानी तालिबान का अफगानी तालिबान से कोई ताल्लुक नहीं. So there's this confusion. You understand?
क्योंकि आप वो कर देते हैं ना, लेबल कर देते हैं. अगर तालिबान है तो वो सारे एक ही कैटेगरी में फॉल करते हैं.
But ये जो अगर आप इनको पहली बात तो कभी भी इनको ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए because they're so different, all of them. अब देखें, Uzbek lived under the Afghan Taliban for 2-3 decades. But over a bayat, they went to war in 3 nights. They murdered all the Uzbeks. I'm alive because the Afghan Taliban and the Uzbek went to war over bayat. And then there's ISIS, which is Afghan Taliban se masla hai. So we can't look at them like this. But if you can somehow look at them like this, so they really have, they believe in what they're doing. They are united together against us. And they look at it as them in here and then the rest of the world is here. And they're indiscriminate. They have a training that is now decades. It's also the foundation of it is burying loved ones, and the truth is the more you do that, the more you can justify your violence. And when you live in war, as Afghanistan and this part of Pakistan has been for the last 40-50 years, because 70s, 80s, 90s, now 2020. जब मैं पहली बार अफगानिस्तान गया था, मेरी बुक में भी ये इंसिडेंट लिखा हुआ है और मैंने उसको बड़ा रोमांटिसाइज करने की कोशिश की है. बट जब मैं उस पहाड़ पे खड़ा था एंड आई हैड एस्केप्ड 6-7 days of war, मैं लश्कर ये जो
you
ज़रब
pretended
अज़ब
to
था,
be a European.
नहीं अभी आई
अच्छा,
वाज
वो आगे
अंडर
था,
द
वो आगे था,
उज़्बेक्स,
yeah.
आई वाज अंडर द उज़्बेक्स, मैं इनके साथ भागा था, बट पाकिस्तान की फौज से भागा था 7 दिन, जो ज़रब अज़ब था,
हाँ.
द मिलिट्री ऑपरेशन टू क्लियर दीज एरियाज. और ना जस्ट इमेजिन आप जंग से बच के भागे हो और आप एक मुल्क आते हो, एंड जब मैंने वो मुल्क देखा तो मतलब इवन टेलिंग यू राइट नाउ आई एम गेटिंग गूज़बम्प्स बिकॉज आई स्वेयर टू गॉड, अगर मैंने दुनिया में कोई ऐसी गॉड, यू नो व्हेन यू से दिस इज अ गॉड फॉरसेकन प्लेस, या वो कोई ब्लेयर विच प्रोजेक्ट या कोई ऐसी जो बहुत ही डार्क सनसान अजीब सी जगह होती हैं, दैट्स अफगानिस्तान. और अफगानिस्तान इज लाइक दिस बिकॉज उस पर 50 साल पूरी दुनिया ने बम मारे, मगर उधर लोग जिंदा हैं. तो वो जो जिंदा लोग हैं उधर, जस्ट इमेजिन व्हाट दे हैव बिकम. And the only thing that unifies them is this the group that everybody says is a terrorist organization, but it's I don't know what it is. But it functions as a government and a unifying symbol for the people that live there.
You talk about loneliness a lot in this, and 4 years, it's a hell of a long time.
Yeah. It's a university degree.
It's a university degree. It's 4 years. You can't even imagine ke yaar aap, and plus you starting mein you were moved around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then for 3 years you were stationed at one place. Now those 3 years you were tortured. Uske saath saath there was a strict routine that you had to follow, and
Of monotony kind
of monotony.
Yeah.
And being a child of privilege, born with this one of the biggest families of Pakistan and all that, and you were broken down. And एक incident था where you were talking about, you were told to clean your own bucket. You were given certain time कि जिसके अंदर you had to perform these duties, if not, and they were constantly checking on you कि जिंदा भी है and all that. It's very easy to just slit your own throat at that time, because एक टाइम पे मुझे लगा था यार खुदा ना खास्ता कि अगर इतना बंदे के ऊपर कुछ हो तो it's very easy बंदा कहे यार मुझे मार ही दो तो बेहतर है. What kept you going throughout this?
I don't know. I you know, because you said it like that, and the truth is that sometimes, you know, you get compliments and people say really nice things, and it kind of covers you know what happened, and actually the way that you said it is exactly how I was for a very long time, and I just couldn't do it, and I didn't have a means to do it. And then फिर वो उन्होंने देखा कि यार इसको नमाज पढ़ने का बहुत शौक है और इसको जिक्र भी करता है, और चलो फिर उन्होंने मुझे कहा तुम थोड़े पाक हो जाओ, because I was filth, and पाक meant, you know, you get rid of your hair from whatever, and maybe you're allowed to shower, and I remember जब मैंने the first time I held that blade, first when I got it, I was trying to figure out how I'm just going to use a blade to shave. It's a very difficult thing, but it's everything is doable. And then you know, once I'd done it, and I think it was the second or the third time that I was doing it, and just before I went in to shave, मेरा जो guard था, मैंने book में भी describe किया, possibly one of the most disgusting human beings I've ever met in my life. And मैंने बड़े लोगों को I've tried to explain him, but nobody's ever understood, because the only way I could try and explain him was like वो schoolyard bullies नहीं होते, वो हर बंदे के school में होते हैं. Everybody is like यार ये बंदा, you know, फड्डेबाज, बेवकूफ, entitled, I don't know what, but far from it, right? So this is more like a psychopathic madman, and not a lot of people would tell you that they've met someone like this, someone who's like smiling while they're beating you, and like वो उसको मुझे bathroom लेके जाना होगा, तो you know after I empty my bucket into the pot, you know he'll into the commode, he'll try to put my head inside it, right? And I'm fighting and crying, and obviously like, you know, it's a lost struggle, I'm weak, and I don't even know why I'm fighting, because I live in filth, I look like filth, I smell like filth, but people have like a little bit of pride. And I definitely didn't want my face being dipped in a pot. And mukke maar hai, and it's a vicious beating, and you know, and he'll come in randomly into my room and start abusing my mother and telling me how like my father deserved to die and how they're going to kill me, and that he's just waiting for my mother to tell.
So all of them had the idea who you were.
See, the thing is, like, it would be a general idea because you have to understand, like, it's a militant group that's fighting the government of Pakistan. तो उनको सिर्फ इतने की कहने की जरूरत है कि ये बहुत बड़े कमीने का बेटा हम लेके आए हैं. तो उनकी नफरत जो है ना is generalized. But क्योंकि तुम उनके हाथ में आ गए हो, they can exercise it. And so they hate you, from top tier to bottom tier. They despise us. They just want to get their hands on one of us to tear us apart. And this guy, uniquely enough, got, and मैंने book में भी बताया, the reason he came here was because इसने Moscow में 2 working girls, prostitutes, whatever, he lured them in and then he beheaded them. And then he ran from there, right? And the reason that he did it was because they were Uzbek working girls in Moscow, and some crazy sense of pride over Uzbekistan and Islam, and I don't know what. But I'm trying to explain to you, like, psychopath.
The mindset.
And so this guy had done this to me the whole day, and I was very upset. And I remember I was crying, and when I used to cry, the worst part was my eyes would burn because of the dirt on my face. And I would always wash my face first before every time I got the chance to go to the bathroom, which was not so much because it was always to empty the thing and just quickly use whatever soap water I could from the lota and go back, one refill, and that's it. And I was crying and I was trying to take my time to do it because I didn't want to go back. He has to take me back in the room, so he's going to start again and just try to do this. And I held that and I realized I had this blade in my hand. And I, obviously I put it to my wrist, and I have my wife's name tattooed where I put it because she's like, for me, when I look at her and I see some of what God has given me for when I saw that there was nothing more left. Sometimes if you just take that step or that extra breath, who knows what life has for you. But I had all but given up. And then the coldness of the blade and the power actually that this could all end scared me so much that I felt like a coward, and I knew I couldn't do it. And I just thought to myself, "Ke yaar, tum kitne zaleel insaan ho. You had such a great life in terms of whatever my concept of life was, and you're living in such extreme filth that you have this amazing chance, and you're just a coward and you can't do it. And you're a coward because you probably enjoy this, and you're going to die anyways, and they're going to gut you, and they're going to gut, and like my kidnapper used to tell me, मैं पीछे से तुम्हारा सर काटूंगा जाके तुम्हें end तक feel होए." So and I knew all these crazy circumstances, and I was being tortured, and I was in solitary, and it was so difficult, but I didn't do it. And I cried that night, and I cried, and I asked Allah to forgive me for being a coward. And the next day, funny enough, मैं Quran पढ़ रहा था, and I came across this ayat which basically said in a very generalized way कि ना उम्मीदी कुफर है. Translation is ऐसी कुछ थी कि जो ना उम्मीदी कुफर है. तो मुझे वो for some reason, आप जब कुरान पढ़ रहे होते हो, आप पढ़ लेते हो, और उसके आप तर्जुमे के साथ अगर आप अरबी में भी पढ़े और तर्जुमा भी पढ़े, you just kind of go through it. आपको कुछ इतना हिट नहीं होता. लेकिन जब मैंने ना उम्मीदी कुफर है, like kind of, I don't know why it hit me so hard. And you know how I am, I'm from a different life as well. It shouldn't hit me so hard. And I started researching it. And when I say research, looking at terrorist material. So,
but you need to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, why is God saying that you can't be hopeless? Why is God saying that to me right now when I need him to understand why I'm hopeless and to give me strength so that in my hopelessness I can go to him? Because I really wanted to go to my father by this time. And I know I told you that this would be one of the uplifting podcasts. I'm sorry you hate this.
I'm not expecting it to be anything. I'm just expecting it to
be
the truth.
Like I wanted to be with Abba, and I had enough. And, there's only that much pain your body can take. I didn't have any nails at the time. And so I had that pain.
Did you talk to him?
I used to talk to him. I haven't written that in my book because when I was writing the book, my mother and my mamu who helped me told me that a lot of your spiritual beliefs and a lot of your strengths and another person won't be able to understand through literature. So if you say that, for example, my father was with me in person, like मुझे उन्होंने मारा और बहुत मारा, घंटों के लिए मारा, और when I was in a haze of pain and hallucination because I was sleep deprived, and my father held me and he held me to sleep and told me to be strong and that I would make it. You think I'm crazy. But that happened to me, and my father held me, and when I came back, I told my mother something, and I said that I really believe that Abba died so that he could save me, because I think he knew what would happen, and I think that if he was alive, it would break him as a man to see this happen to his son, because he'd be powerless. No human being could help me, और मेरे साथ तो जो होना था वो होना ही था. But for such a wonderful man to feel so powerless, and look at the power that he had, he saved my life. And I'll tell you, like, you asked me about Peter, and there's so many stories like that, right? But they all come from Abba. And even in this darkness and even in this despair, I used to think about him, and I used to think about his stories and his struggle. And a lot of people think about his business and about his what he achieved in life and power and money and success. But what they don't know is that he also gave all of these things up to fight against Zia ul Haq, who was a dictator. And the fight wasn't for his own right to vote, because he was, in his 30s, 40s. So he'd lived the better part of his life. But it was, say, now when I look at it, and if I'm affected by what's going on in this country, I don't want it for my kids. So the guys that did it back then wanted it for their grandchildren.
Yeah.
A better future for their grandchildren. And he went through solitary confinement in Punjab police.
Yeah, he went to jail.
And like वो अब्बा के बारे में बड़ा फेमस था, वो पंजाब की पुलिस को ऑर्डर मिला था कि सलमान तासीर की कमर तोड़ोगे तो जैसी टूटेगी तो पूरी PPP की पंजाब मूवमेंट खत्म हो जाएगी, तो ब्रेक हिम. तो जब वो टॉर्चर हो रहे होते थे जेल में, he had that it wasn't that his own belief, but also the expectation and other people who were associated with him, if I break in, if I give in, if I sign some chitti, then it'll just like a house of cards, it'll come down, right? But imagine that man has to keep reminding himself every time he's tied upside down naked, being beaten by 4 policemen, that I'm doing this for my grandchildren. I'm doing this for my grandchildren. It takes that's all I had in that darkness, his stories. So it's very difficult to explain to people. But I told the first conversation, my mother and I had a very crazy, we had our own moment. And if you think what I'm saying is crazy, you should hear her part of the story.
मैं सोच भी नहीं सकता कि आपकी माँ किस चीज़ से गुजरी है, because to be married to someone of a stature of Salman Taseer, then to live a life knowing that the man is fighting for his country and standing for his beliefs, staying away from his children. I know your family from very few people know how much sacrifice your mother made from your perspective, from her husband's perspective. So I have immense respect for your mother.
अब्बा ये कहते थे कि whether मेरी सियासी ज़िंदगी थी या मेरी बिजनेस की ज़िंदगी थी, he's like, if this woman wasn't with me, I don't know what I would have done.
True.
And
I think
Mama,
it's the women that defines her.
Yeah. But she was, I feel bad for her because she, as an older son, you want your mother and father to be comfortable when you're at that age where you're like, oh, I can give to my mother and father finally, because they take care of you your whole life. And I mean, I don't have my dad to give to, but I feel like no matter how much I give to my mother, because Abba isn't there, how much could it be because of who he was and what he could do. And you can never give that safety or that love or that protection. And
being a father yourself now, and mashallah, you have 3 beautiful children. What's your biggest fear at this point, gaining that freedom and that experience, and still मतलब मैं इस चीज़ के ऊपर भी बड़ा होता हूँ कि यार ये बंदा अभी तक पाकिस्तान में है।
नहीं है मैं इस तरह I don't have those fear for my kids. I hope that एक हमारी सेनेटर है शहरी रहमान, she had a beautiful Twitter profile, नहीं होता,
Yeah.
she said I would take a bullet so that my children don't have to, so I really hope that I don't have those fears. Like right now I have very normal parental fears जो एक 6 साल की बच्ची और 2 साल का बेटा और न्यू बॉर्न के होते हैं, बीमार ना हो, स्मॉग है, स्कूल रूटीन, ये चीज़ें. My real fear is of them understanding who their grandfather was, what he represented, and actually picking
एक
up
जो
that
दुनिया
mantle.
की एक वो जो उनकी परसेप्शन है, एंड यू नोइंग योर फादर ऑन अ पर्सनल लेवल, एक वो जो आपकी परसेप्शन है.
Yeah.
I know completely what you.
But if they were to get, say, overwhelmed by what an unbelievable man my grandfather was and pick up that mantle, that is a fear for me. This is a dangerous country, and I feel like it's tough what Abba used to do. I can't do it. I very rarely met any man who can, and so that's obviously the fear, but it would also make me very proud.
Growing up, were you close to your brother?
Yeah, me and my brother are like inseparable.
Because हम भाई, we're 4 brothers, and I know कि वो जो भाइयों का bond होता है और आपस में जो होता है, because they're your biggest enemy and your best friends also at the same time.
Right now he's my enemy.
Actually, वो भाई ही क्या जो दुश्मन ना हो.
So we just went. But we were fighting in office over something. But then we came back and there was a Man United game. So हम एक लिवरपूल फैन के साथ देख रहे थे, तो हम दोनों ने मिल के उसको मारा at the end of the game, and then we looked at each other. We're like frenemies or whatever. But he's my.
I think in this whole period, because एक भाई के perspective से मैं इसको देख रहा था, he didn't say anything. He wasn't. मतलब your mother was being targeted in public eye. Your wife was being targeted. और सारा कुछ हो रहा था, खबरें वगैरह आ रही थी and all that. But I kept thinking कि यार एक भाई, and especially you guys are very close to each other. When you came back, that connection, and 4 years, 5 years down the line, was there a moment where you actually sat down with him and understood what he went through?
Yeah, I did. I always believe that sometimes I'm treated a bit selfishly. People always want to inquire about me, but I'm okay, and I know that. And I'm very lucky because I healed myself, and I got a lot of help from God, and I saw Him do miracles to save me. But I also knew that there's so many people associated with me who have suffered. And my brother, like you said, suffered in silence. Men are not ever.
Yeah, we're not allowed to cry.
But he lost his father, and then he lost his big brother, and I spoil him. मेरा छोटा भाई है. तो and सबका लाडला है in that way. And suddenly one day he wakes up, and there's no bhai, there's no abba. Everything is on him. He has to keep that business legacy intact.
To step up.
He has to step up, and he has to step up so that my mother can work to bring me back, because she needs 100% attention, and my businesses were collapsing. We were in a horrific way at the time. And so he had his own struggle, and we had a very funny moment because I wrote him a letter. I wrote everyone I loved a letter every time I thought I'd die. So I wrote everyone 6 letters each, and I love maybe thousands of people. So I wrote him a letter, and it's really funny. We had a fight. Me and him had a gandhi fight. So what happened was, say it was Friday ko I got kidnapped. Thursday and Wednesday I was in Dubai. So Tuesday at office we had an argument about a company, and I felt that you should do this with the company, but he had an emotional attachment to the company. So he was fighting with me from an emotional place, like my father valued this, and he'd think less of you. And I got chored, and I was like, how an older brother would tell his younger, and it got ugly. And we left, and I got onto a plane. I went to Dubai to do some work, and then I came back. The Dubai flights are late, so when I came back, I went to his room because I'd spent 2 days thinking about the fight, and I actually agreed with him. So I went to his room, and he was in the bathroom. So I knocked, and he said, "I'm in the bathroom," in a slightly like piss off way. He knew it was me.
Yeah.
So I left, and you're like, "There's tomorrow," and I never saw him again. And he's my best friend. I have lots of best friends. I have everything, but he's only a year and a half younger than me.
Yeah.
And so we grew up together. I used to steal his toys, his candy, his clothes, his everything, till he outgrew me. And then, so when I met him, we hugged, and he's like, "I have so much to tell you." And I just joked because I'd been following Man United this whole time, and I was like, I heard Man United's in deep shit, and I started telling him about some matches, and his face thing. And then I was with him alone, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he literally he told me how he's like, I didn't have anywhere to go, and I would come in my bathroom, and I would sit here, and I would cry, and I would look up, and I would just say, "Abba, please help me. Somebody help me. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't have my brother. I see my mother, and she's lost. She doesn't know what to do." And then he's like, this is like 2014. And he's like, I felt like a shock through my body, and like a vision or something. And Abba was like, "Get it together. Your brother needs me, and your mother needs you." And he's like, I looked around like, is there like what the hell was that? Because he's like, it was really real for me. I can't really explain it to someone. And he's like, that was it. That was the day I got up, and I just manned up, and I did whatever I had to. And then God brought you back home.
Has he changed?
He has. He was different before. He's, a dad of 3 now. He's like a man. He's not my little bro. I still treat him like my little brother, but life is life.
You've always been more closer to your father.
Yeah. Well, he was very close to him as well. He was the sporty one. I was the halla gulla. I'd bring that, but
you're the funny man.
I was a funny man, and I would always, my dad would just be in fits, and my brother would actually be the focus of my wrath. So Abba,
Chote bhai hamesha
Chote bhai,
mujhe pata hai na, main number 2 hu.
So, but it's tough. A lot of people, I always try to tell people that this book is not just about me. It's also about my family and what they all went through. And when you read it, my dad died on my brother's birthday, and he was coming back to celebrate. He was coming back to Lahore to celebrate. Shariar was supposed to come back with him, but Abba sent him just so he could go to Kosar market, get a soup and a book. And, Shariar has that thing in his heart that maybe if I'd not left and stayed with him, I could have done something. So there's this. It's tough. We don't have it easy. All of us have
How's your relationship with your mother now?
Exactly how it should be. Mom, son. I wanted that. Just the way it was. लड़ाई भी होती है, हंसते भी हैं, झुकते भी लगाता हूँ, तंग भी करता हूँ, ख्याल भी रखता हूँ, प्यार भी करता हूँ. ग्रैंडचिल्ड्रन भी दिए हैं, सबने दिए हैं उनको. And I've prayed for that. I don't want anything spectacular. I don't believe in grand spectacular
I
things.
never got to know you before this incident. When this happened, obviously बात है, आपको थोड़ा सा इधर से पता लगता है, उधर से पता लगता है, अच्छा वो ये था, वो था, वो ये था. Because I was friends with the older lot and everything. Were you spiritual before this?
No, I don't think
Because
so.
throughout, even in your book and in your interviews, you talk a lot about God, and not even from a layman's perspective, but from a very educated perspective. Like you've researched your religion, and mashallah, you have a very good grasp of the translation part, the books, the hadiths, and everything, and you talk about them as if you've actually made the effort to research about your Islam.
I had to. So I was, हम सब पाकिस्तानी हैं, तो मुसलमान मुल्क में पैदा होते हैं तो मुसलमान हैं.
हाँ, इसमें हमारा कोई मार्का नहीं है कि वहाँ पैदा होते
या
हैं.
अगर हम कहीं और पैदा होते तो कुछ और होते, और जैसे लोग होते हैं. और इस तरह ही लाइक स्कूल गया, इस्लामियात पढ़ी, अम्मी हमेशा चप्पल लेके भाग रही होती थी.
And you're an HSonian.
I was an HSonian. तो चप्पल ले, आई जस्ट रिमेंबर माई मदर, जब मैं छोटा था चप्पल के साथ, नमाज पढ़ो, ईद की नमाज है, कुछ करो. बेचारी बहुत डेस्परेट औरत थी कि कुछ होए, बट हम भाग, वी ऑलवेज डॉजिंग. मगर लंदन में जब मैं कॉलेज में था तो आई रिमेंबर गेटिंग टू हीटेड डिबेट्स के मुसलमानों के साथ जो हो रहा है दुनिया में, इट्स फोकस, बिकॉज वी वर द फर्स्ट जनरेशन 9/11 के बाद जो कॉलेज गई.
Exactly, you guys went after that.
So these debates, and I went to law school, so my whole thing was like this is, ये मुसलमानों को टारगेट किया जा रहा है specifically, and तब मैं बहुत I felt very मुसलमान, but
अंदर से नहीं था,
पता नहीं क्या हूँ. नमाज भी आती है, बट ऑनेस्टली जब मुझे लगा कि मैं मुसलमान हूँ, was the first time that I realized that I really feared God, and I don't think I ever feared him, honestly, if I was to be honest with you, because when you live in this bubble, this facade, and you come from a privileged background, everything is kind of on your fingertips. So what do you fear? Because you have everything, you get everything you need. How spiritual can you be? You actually get lost in translate, like you get lost in this. And then I lost all of this. And like you were saying, everything that I knew was gone, and now I'm this raw kind of human being in a very raw setting. Every skill that I know is useless. Every bit of knowledge that I have is of no use. जैसे वो मुझे कहते थे तुम पढ़े लिखे जाहिल हो. मेरी लीगल नॉलेज का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं था, मेरी कॉर्पोरेट नॉलेज का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं था, मेरी ट्रैवलिंग, मेरी एक्सपीरियंसेस, मेरी सोशल लाइफ, मेरे पैसे, मेरे किसी चीज़ का दुनिया में कोई फ़ायदा नहीं था.
Had no meaning.
मगर ये मुझे कहते थे कि जो तुम्हारे साथ हो रहा है, you deserve it, you deserve this. So I actually started studying Islam, कि ये क्यों मेरे साथ ये मुझे ये क्यों कहते हैं. और जब मैंने उसको डीप पढ़ना शुरू किया तो मैंने एक चीज़ मैंने अपने दिल में कहा कि ये शायद झूठ नहीं बोल रहे, मैं मुसलमान पता नहीं हूँ या नहीं हूँ, लेकिन जो अल्लाह का डर होना चाहिए इंसान में, जो आपका एक मॉरल कंपस होना चाहिए, आई डोंट थिंक मेरा है. एंड आई थिंक वो इसलिए नहीं आया था कि मैं लुक एट लाइक आई एम इन डीप शिट. वो इसलिए आया था बिकॉज आई वाज लाइक आई एम इन डीप शिट एंड दिस इज व्हाट गॉड वांटेड, नाउ आई हैव टू स्टैंड अप. सो मुझे अल्लाह से डर था, मगर मैं उसका इम्तिहान भी कबूल कर रहा था, और पार्ट ऑफ दैट वाज कि मैं नाउमीद नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि नाउमीदी का मतलब है कि यू हैव गिवन अप. जैसे मेरी स्ट्रेंथ है कि शायद मेरे में आपसे ज्यादा सब्र है, आपकी स्ट्रेंथ है कि यू आर वेरी वेल रेड, इनकी स्ट्रेंथ है दैट ही इज एन एक्सीलेंट क्यूरेटर. आई डोंट नो, एवरीबडी हैज अ स्ट्रेंथ, बट अल्लाह सुब्हाना ताला की कोई इस तरह की स्ट्रेंथ नहीं है. उनकी स्ट्रेंथ है कि कुन फायकुन, और he can perform a miracle, he can create time, he can create galaxies, he can perform miracles. मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम बनी इसराइल के साथ खड़े हुए थे, और फिरौन अपनी दुनिया की greatest army के साथ was marching towards him. And all Allah said was, hit the rock with your stick. But hit the rock with your stick. I am not going to open the sea. Hit the rock. Reach for my miracle. Reach for me. और this is God's power. You have to submit to it. And I saw it then with my own eyes. I was in a drone strike which killed Abu Yahya Libi. And I was the only survivor. I was in multiple airstrikes. I was in multiple raids and multiple war scenarios and in blasts. There was a woman who literally walked out of a room as smaller than this, in to say another room, which was the lift, and blew herself up, and and I survived, and I direct gunfire, and I was shot, and I was tortured in, flesh was taken out from me. I was bled out. I was starved. Everything happened to me, but nothing happened to me, and today I can sit here and I can tell you about all the horrible things that happened to me, and yet I'm speaking in the past tense, and they have absolutely no effect on my present and inshallah on my future.
Alhamdulillah.
And that is something, I promise you, it comes from God. It's and by the way, I don't want to, because it is very important. I'm extremely lucky. My greatest privilege is that Allah healed me before He brought me back. He healed me and brought me back. But for example, I must be one of the very few, because I've met people that have served 3 months in Iraq and have PTSD. I've met people that have been in situations where a relationship has fallen apart and they've developed PTSD. I've met, and it's really heartbreaking scenarios of. That's why I always tell people, you can never measure pain. Just because you think my experience is so extreme and somebody else's is so little, like there's no measure. This little experience can cause that pain.
Yeah.
And so you should always get professional help. But my faith is what saved me. Like I've also gone for professional help, but nothing has helped me or healed me like Allah did. And that honestly, and I know this, and that's why I speak about it the way that I speak about it. I don't want to, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a healer. I'm not like, some guy like that. I really want you to read about your own religion and to feel that love and that fear for God, because don't mistake the fear. It comes out of an extreme amount of love. And the only reason I'm asking you to do it is to see a miracle yourself. मुझे एक बार याद है, मैं रो के दुआ कर रहा था, और मेरे किडनैपर ने मुझे कहा कि मुझे बदुआएं तो नहीं दे रहे, तो मैं हंसना शुरू हो गया, because he tortured me. And I was like, मुझे क्या पता मेरी कितनी दुआएं हैं इस दुनिया में, तो अगर अल्लाह ने इन आखिरी दुआओं में से एक ही सुननी है तो वो मैं तुम पे क्यों ज़ाया करूँ बदुआ में. तो वो भी हंसा.
क्या बात है.
तो मैं लोगों को हमेशा यही बताने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि हम बहुत वक्त गुजार लेते हैं उस पर लानत होए, या मैं इसको कुछ कर लूँ, उसको किसी और को कुछ करने में या बुराई करने में हम काफ़ी वक्त गुजारते हैं. बट अगर हम वही वक्त अपने लिए दुआ मांग लें, या अपनी वालदा के लिए दुआ मांग लें, या उस गुस्से पे सब्र कर लें, या उस आदमी की जान ना लें क्योंकि हम उससे एग्री नहीं करते, और मुंह मोड़ लें और सोचें और समझें, तो पता नहीं इंसान कितने फ़र्क हों. तो I try to apply it in my own life. And I only try to tell people, I always tell them कि it's not कि मैं मुसलमान हूँ, शायद तुम क्रिश्चियन हो और तुम हिंदू हो, मगर वो सब्र और वो डर और वो प्यार अपनी फेथ में ढूंढो, तुम्हें बेहतर इंसान बनाएगा. I don't know. I go on a different tangent, but it's only because it saved me. I saw it save my life. I had nothing. No, I can get a meeting with the Prime Minister right now. I can go meet the Chief of Army Staff. I can go meet the CM. I have unbelievable access to everything. But none of this could do anything for me.
How was that last day that you escaped? And jo log aaye and that phone call?
So the last day that I escaped, or that I came?
No, the call. Jab wo aaye and they barged in and you told them who you are and everything.
So there are 2 last days.
Okay.
So I have to tell you about both of them. Okay. First, I'll tell you about the first last day. The first last day was at jail, in the Afghan Taliban jail in Uruzgan. Or that last day was like any other day. Fajr ke baad utha, namaz padhi, scabies tha, which is a bacterial infection on your body for being in close quarters with 100 men. I don't suggest this for anyone, but the Taliban are also ruthless in their way कि उन्होंने 100 बंदा इतनी सी जगह के अंदर बंद कर दिया और कहा मुजरिम है. राइट्स दे देते थे मगर 100 बंदा सोता था. So you develop all these diseases. So मैं पहाड़ थी, बर्फ का था, मगर सुबह 11 बजे से 2 बजे जो सूरज की गर्मी या रोशनी
हाँ.
होती है, it bakes you. You get
Yeah.
like a tan. I don't know if you remember when I came back, I had this wonderful tan.
Yeah, you had
So,
blisters and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just, मैं अपना स्केबीज की वो कर रहा था, एंड जिस बंदे से मैं मदद मांग रहा था उसका नाम था मलंग. अब मलंग पाकिस्तानी पश्तों में एक और मायना रखता है, मगर अफगानी पश्तों में मलंग मीन्स लायन.
अच्छा.
He was a 23-year-old commander, and the reason he was in jail was because he refused to fight the Uzbeks. He said, "ये मुसलमानों की जंग है, मैं इसमें नहीं हो रहा." So after the Taliban won, he was a Taliban commander.
अच्छा.
They made an example, but they treated him with respect. He wasn't kept with like the other prisoners. He was given extreme protocol, but he was kept in prison. So say if the prime minister was arrested,
Yeah.
compared to me or you. So I approached him, and I seduced him and mesmerized him with my stories. But I also horrified him because I had made a lie. And मैं लोगों को बता रहा था कि मैं एक ब्रिटिश मुजाहिद हूँ.
Yeah.
मैं इंग्लैंड से आया हूँ हिजरत करके फिदाई हमला करने, और पता नहीं मैं कहाँ फंस गया हूँ ये इन दोनों ग्रुपों की जंगों में. एंड यू नो आई एम लाइक अ बिट ऑफ अ damsel in distress. And it was a bit of a Cinderella story for where I was, because you know, imagine a Christian married to white. It's easy to lie like this when you're there. But then converted to Islam, and then my wife and my mother and my father reported me to MI6, and then I went from there to Paris, and then to Istanbul, and then to the mountains of Turkey, through Iran, into
You
Baluch.
fabricated the whole
Yeah,
story.
and actually it's not a fabricated story. This is how the fighters come into Pakistan.
Okay.
So I used what they do, applied it to what they had told me, how the Uzbeks come, how the Tajiks come, how the Chechnyans come, how all the foreign fighters come into Pakistan. These are the routes. Who the pinpoint guys are, what the transportation guys are, who the check guys in Quetta are, who they take them across the borders, identity cards कैसे मिलते हैं, इलाका गैर के अंदर कैसे enter होते हैं, मीर अली.
You knew all of that.
I knew all of it through the Uzbeks.
Yeah.
And also, when we ran from Pakistan, we were taken into Afghanistan by the Afghan Taliban. उस वक्त तो ये इनके नीचे ही थे. So I knew the route of coming from Pakistan. So I knew हम इधर से, it was the first time in my life जब मुझे पता था हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं.
So
जब मुझे लेके गए थे,
information to your own use.
I made up this story. तो मलंग ने मुझे कहा, तेरा दिमाग तो नहीं, मम्मी डैडी लाहौर का पता नहीं अगवा होके इधर पहुंचा अपने आप को फिदाई यूसुफ ब्रिटानिया, हैव यू लॉस्ट लीव ऑफ योर्स. कोई तुझे अगर कहे कि यार उधर सामने चेक पोस्ट से इसको तो भेजो, इसको तो जल्दी अल्लाह के पास भेजो ना, तो क्या करोगे? तो I was like, मैं कहूँगा मैंने अभी अपनी इबादत नहीं पूरी की. Anyways, so on the 29th of February, he basically put 15,000 rupees in my pocket and opened this gate and said, "Go."
Achha.
So that was the first day, and I could not believe it. And I actually didn't believe. I'd been lied to and cheated so much in my life.
opportunity हुई थी.
Opportunity kabhi nahi hui thi, but my kidnapper was a liar. He would, like, the first 6 months, he lied to me and said, "Bas deal hone wali hai, deal hone wali hai." And then, you know, you probably read the story where he put the gun to my head. No?
Yeah.
And, you know, this is stuff that traumatize, like, destroys you forever. It's, you know, it's like the kind of lies and cheat, that deception that you never recover from. You never take anyone on face value again.
Yeah.
And so I literally didn't believe कि मलंग मुझे घर लेके जा रहा है. I believed कि ये मुझे लेके जाएगा एक safe house. He's going to get in touch with my mother. ये एक reasonable deal करेंगे, और ये एक quick process है 4-5 महीने की. So that was the first escape. The reason I say the first escape is because I didn't believe it, but it was the first time that I left the prison, and now I'm on my own, and the people that I'm with don't know who I am, and I'm being led to my eventual freedom, which I just don't believe because of my last 4.5 years. 7 days later, we arrive in a place 2-3 hours from a small town called Kuchlak. और फजर पड़ी, just like 6-7 days ago. And जो राइडर जिसके साथ मैं बैठा हुआ था, so अब हम राइडर, this word didn't exist in my vocabulary before all this food panda stuff. But जिस राइडर के साथ मैं था, the 9th guy on the last motorcycle, वो मेरे पास आया और उसने कहा कि आपका महाजिर कार्ड का है. I was like, nah buddy, English, Yusuf Britannia. So he's like, Yusuf, महाजिर कार्ड, identity card, refugee card. Tu sara shta, naashta, the Quetta checkpost, khatam. Matlab, as in you are a liability for us. The military is going to screw all of us because you don't have identification. Now the thing is, Afghani jo hai, there are millions of them settled all along our borders. So they are issued Mahajir cards and they are Pakistan, like they enter with these identification cards. It's the only time in my life I'm very inquisitive and like if you say something, I'll ask you 20 questions and 30 unnecessary ones. It's the only time in my life मैंने एक लफ्ज़ नहीं बोला. And they literally drove off. They're like, we can't take you, goodbye, find your own way. And वहीं छोड़ दिया. मैंने एक रिक्शा ढूंढा. पहला वाला रिक्शा जो था उसने तो मेरा हुलिया, by the way, मैं इस तरह नहीं लग रहा था. हाँ, I had my अफगानी शलवार कुर्ता भी फ़र्क होता है, उसका कट ऐसे आता है. और वेस्ट कोट, मेरी तालिबान टर्बन, मेरे बाल इधर तक मतलब थे और मेरी दाढ़ी आई थिंक यहाँ तक थी और बड़ी दाढ़ी थी और थोड़ा शायद तेल शेल भी लगा हुआ. तो the first guy was like, no way. So the second guy, I literally got on top of the highway, I got on to the rickshaw and said Quetta. अब ये आधे रास्ते मतलब घंटे की ड्राइव के अंदर इसने मुझे कहा कि आपके पास महाजिर कार्ड है. तो मैंने कहा नहीं. रिक्शे वाले ने कहा, कहता है आपको वो पकड़ लेंगे, क्वेटा के अंदर कोई नहीं जा सकता, तालिबान नहीं जा सकता. तो थैंक यू. तो मैंने कहा यार मैं कोई फिक्र ना करो, मुझे मेरा मामू उठाने आ रहा है, मुझे कोई नहीं तंग करेगा. उन्होंने कहा नहीं, मैं आपको ये कुछ लाख, nobody mentioned this कुछ लाख प्लेस में, ये जगह है, इधर से फोन करें, इधर से जाएं. So that's कुछ लाख. Got to कुछ लाख, saw the biggest hotel, ईंटों वाली जगह over there, went inside. उस बेचारे वैसे that restaurant owner, उसको मैंने कहा फोन मुझे इस्तेमाल करने दे. उसने कहा नहीं, आप लोगों को हमेशा गलत कॉल करके हमको फंसाता है. तो मैंने एक मोबाइल यूज किया एंड मैंने अपनी अम्मी को फोन किया. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई स्पोक टू माय मदर इन 8 months. एंड इन दोज 8 months the ISI, the military intelligence, the police, everyone told my mother, your son is dead, he's been killed, and the Uzbeks are dead. तो मसला ये नहीं है कि उन्होंने उसको मारा, कि उनको भी मार दिया, उनका नाम और निशान तालिबान ने खत्म कर दिया. तो ये कैसे हो सकता है इतनी इनडिस्क्रिमिनेट वॉर में तो कोई बचा ही नहीं, औरतें बच्चे उन्होंने नहीं छोड़े. तो you know, and there was also these 19-20 Hazara people that these Uzbeks had kidnapped. उनको भी उन्होंने मार दिया. तो उन्होंने कहा उन्होंने मरते मरते अपने prisoners को भी मारा है. तो you have to be ready for this. My mother kept saying, मुझे produce the body. If you cannot produce the body, my son is alive. You have to produce the body. तो when I called her, मैं थोड़ा सा ना मैं उस वक्त वो उस तरह नहीं था. I hadn't escaped. I wasn't safe. Kuchlak is a small town outside of Quetta. It's a Taliban hitchhike town. So it's crawling with just Taliban. And they're in their libas, they've got their jhandas, they've got their everything. I said, Mama, मैंने उनको फ़ोन किया and I was like, Mama, आपने मेरे से इंग्लिश में बात नहीं करनी क्योंकि my reaction will be to reply to you in English. So मेरी बात सुनो और समझो, मैं भाग गया हूँ. मैं एक जगह में हूँ, कुचलाक सलीम होटल. 25 minutes के अंदर या कोई ना कोई बंदा मोटरसाइकिल या गाड़ी में भेजे मुझे उठाने. अब ऑब्वियसली मैं तो अपने तरफ से द स्मार्टेस्ट वे दैट आई कैन थिंक ऑफ, बट माय मदर हैज ISI एंड मिलिट्री फोन्स वर टैप्ड. मतलब इट वाज अ क्लिक, लाइक अजीब नंबर से आया, पता चलता है वो है तो सेकेंडरी फोन चालू हो जाता है. यू नो, लाइक इट दे आर वेरी गुड विद हाउ दे एक्सिक्यूट एंड कोऑर्डिनेट. लाइक ईमेल भी, अगर मेरी ईमेल भी आती तो उनको पता था कि वो ईमेल आ गई. लाइक उस पे लिखा होता है रिसीव बाय 2, तो one would be my mother and one would be obviously one of them. So अच्छा, there's a bit of a crazy story attached to this. So the general who was helping my mother, 1.5 years before I came back, he was transferred to Quetta. And when he was being transferred, my mother cried a lot and she said, you're the only guy who's helped me, no one helps me. And अब आप भी जा रहे हैं, मैं क्या करूँगी? And he's like, बहन मैं आपका बेटा घर लेके आऊँगा. And off he went to Quetta. So I don't take his name, but General Saab and me are like this. Okay, he's like my. So now my mother hears me, shuts the phone, picks up the phone and calls General Saab. And she's like, मुझे नहीं पता वो क्या पागल बातें कर रहा है. वो कह रहा है वो भाग गया है, वो कोई जगह है कुचलाक. He's like, I know कुचलाक. She's like, Salim Hotel. He's like, I know Salim Hotel. She's like, वो उसके बाहर खड़ा है. He's like, this is a trap. He's like, he can't, there's no, let's
Yeah,
face it.
zahiri baat hai.
So he's like, this is a trap. It's definitely to lower you or to see kya hota hai. So we're going to plan an operation. She's like, listen, he has called me from there. So if you're saying it's a bazaar, then my son is in a bazaar. Now in their head, Hollywood movie. My head, Salim Hotel, waiting. They planned like वो SWAT teams की movies नहीं होती.
बिल्कुल.
And like my brother and my sister are on the phone with my mother and my mamu. And my mamu has a hilarious story because he's on the motorway. My mother called him and she's like, Shabazz has escaped and they're going to rescue him. And chalti vi gaadi ka, he opened the door on the motorway and just walked out, kind of like he had to be yanked back in because his brain just left. You know, 4.5 years is a long time. It causes all kinds of people to do crazy things. So then 25 minutes I'm standing there and I made, by the way, I went to a Taliban and asked for the mobile as well. मैं frank हो चुका था इसमें. So suddenly I see these SWAT cars. Literally, this is not Dolphin. This is not anything we've seen. This is not even the stuff that picked up Imran Khan like outside the court. Yeah. These were like the guys, like whoever saves us when like, you know, the aliens come.
The shit hits the
fan. This was those guys, okay?
The MI5, the MIBs.
They came and they cleared the entire area. But I was the first guy they cleared, because since I looked so Talibani, they kicked me where they shouldn't have and put me the hands up. And then I see from the back of my head inside the hotel, they're slapping, Shahid Afridi hands out, slapping the taste out of everyone inside. And I just took a deep breath and I was like, I don't think they came for you. I think they came for Osama bin Laden. And tu kahin phir phas gaya hai. Anyways, I was like, even if I get arrested, whatever, I'll just, I just have to say I'm Shabazz Taseer in some secure location. So there was this little guy. He was a little ISI guy, jacket, white shirt, black pants, but small guy. I grabbed his hand and I was like, Mera naam Shabazz Taseer hai, tum log mere liye aaye ho. Just left. When he was coming back, I grabbed his hand again. I was like, I'm Salman Taseer's son. You've come for me. And he goes, what's your name? And I was like, Shabazz Taseer. And he's like, 1 minute. And I grabbed him before he could. I was like, you don't need anything. And like, I don't know what he wanted to confirm, right? And he's like, come with me. And he just kind of yanked me up from the ground, put me in the Dala. And as soon as I sat in the Dala, it also went like at the speed. And then the 22222s and, like the highway was cleared. And now I'm in like a protocol. And I was like, I remember this. I remember this life. I remember things being like this. And there were two colonels. And they high-fived each other. And they were with one was an MI, one was an ISI guy. And they're different. So the MI guy called his boss. This guy called his boss. And they both told them that we've recovered the guy. So I kind of came from behind the seat because I was in the middle. And I was like, recovered. And they're like, they looked and they're like, you're a tough guy. Then they put General Saab on the phone with me. And I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. I just found the whole situation so hilarious. And General Saab goes, Shabazz, we've never met, never spoken, nothing. And I was like, yes. And he's like, this is my name. I've been working with your mother for 4.5 years. I need to ask you something to get you clearance that we've got the right guy. What wood are you made out of? And you have to answer this question. What wood are you made out of? And I was like, I'm not made out of wood, sir. I'm made out of Sida Loha, Punjabi Loha. So he burst out laughing. He's like, no, we don't have time. You have to answer the question. So I said, I'm not made from a wood that burns easily. And that's what my father said to my mother when he was in solitary confinement. And she didn't know where he was, and she and everybody told her that he's going to be killed. And he smuggled a note for her from jail, and he said, "Amna, don't worry. I'm not made from a wood that burns easily."
Kya baat.
So they gave me that respect of asking me the same question. Although I always say that I'm privileged to be his son and her son, because he's the hero. And she's actually the bravest person in the world, because heroes aren't necessarily brave. They're sometimes stupid. But their conviction comes from a place of courage. But the people that support those brave people, that always stand behind them, that give them the foundation to be brave, to carry on every day, because it's not easy to be brave. It's not easy to be told that when you're doing the right thing, you're wrong. You know, एक मुसलमान अगर एक और मुसलमान की मदद करे या एक गैर मुसलमान की मदद करे और उसका अपना भाई उसको कहे कि तुम काफिर हो क्योंकि तुमने एक गैर मुसलमान की मदद की है, तो वो जो मुसलमान के ऊपर बोझ होता है वो ना जो जिसने उसको अक्यूज किया उस पर नहीं होता, जिसकी वो मदद कर रहा है उस पर नहीं होता, वो बोझ उस पर होता है, वो फिर भी मदद करता है। अगर वो मदद करते हुए मरता है तो उसके बीवी बच्चे उसको दफनाते हैं और वो दर्द उनका होता है। सो he's the bravest man that I've honestly ever met in my life. And she is courage and bravery just defined.
Given the second chance, and you talk about second chances throughout your interviews also, what purpose do you think you were saved for?
I don't know.
Because you believe in miracles. Your whole story is nothing but a miracle.
So I was silly enough to think कि मेरे miracles हैं, कि ये miracles जो हैं ये मेरे पे हुए हैं. So जब मैं उस गाड़ी में जा रहा था, मुझे वो एक सेफ हाउस लेके गए और फिर उन्होंने मेरी इंटेरोगेशन की कि ये तालिबान तो नहीं बन गया 4.5 साल में, ये अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू, और इसका आइन और इसका खौफ कहाँ से आया है. तो you know, they put me through this very serious interrogation, and at 12 o'clock at night, so I was rescued in the morning and the interrogation went on till 12 o'clock at night, and it was also a little insulting, I'll be honest with you. And I'm a unique guy, no one's going to pick me up because वो कहते हैं जिन्होंने अल्लाह बचाया उन्होंने साडी असी की चुके हैं. So I'm lucky like that with the security agencies, but I got pissed off, very upset at about 12 o'clock at night because he showed me a map on his iPad and he said आप कौन से रास्ते से आए, like a Google map. Yeah. And I just looked and I was like, you know, I literally freestyled it back, and if you know the road, why don't you tell me? So ekdam he got, so the colonel who was in the car with me was with me the entire time. So he goes, yaar, tum log zara easy ho jao, bahut lambi tumne ye kar liye, let him rest yaar. So he looks at me and he goes, you know, the reason that we're doing this is because we found out that because your father's killer has been hung today, was hung. And we just wanted to release the information that you're okay because we can't believe it worked out like this. And मैंने उसको देखा and I was like, what? उसको कब फांसी हुई है? कहते हैं 29 फरवरी को. I was like, कब? They're like फजर के बाद. And I was like, मैं 29 फरवरी को फजर के बाद भागा था. And that's when I realized that this has nothing to do with me. This was my father's miracle. I was just a pawn in this entire game, because how funny that the day that his murderer is hung, you have to read Supreme Court की judgment, because it says कि सलमान तासीर एक बेकसूर मुसलमान था जिसने गवर्नर होते हुए एक नसरानी की मदद की जो पाकिस्तानी थी. ना तो वो मदद गलत थी ना, और उस औरत पे इल्जाम भी गलत था. तो एक मुसलमान होते वो क्या करता? गवर्नर आम आदमी नहीं था ना, था भी तो गवर्नर. तो जब कोई मसला पड़ता है हम किसके पास जाते हैं? गवर्नर, पुलिस, अथॉरिटी के बंदे के पास जाते हैं. जिस दिन इस वर्डिक्ट के साथ उस आदमी को फांसी दी है, उसी दिन उसका बच्चा बीच अफगानिस्तान में उसी वक्त एक अफगानी जेल से एस्केप करके पाकिस्तान. मुझे तो लग गए 8 दिन वापस आते हैं, सही है, मगर मैं निकला उसी वक्त था. और उसी दिन, this is again something I left out of the book because actually this story is in the book, but it's a crazy story. लोगों को नहीं समझ में आएगी. मेरी वालदा की एक दोस्त है जो सिंगापुर में रहती हैं, वो फजर की नमाज पढ़ी थी 29 फरवरी. और उन्होंने एकदम मेरी वालदा को फोन किया, टाइम डिफरेंस भी है, सो मामा के लिए it was in the much earlier in the night, and she's like, Amna, I've just seen Salman. And she goes, and now she'd had a lot of that in the last 4.5 years. So she goes, that's nice. And she's like, and he told me that he's tired and he's done his work and that now he's going to rest. I don't know what that means, Amna. Why did I see him? So she thought it's because the man has been hung. And then I told her that I escaped on the 29th of February and that I think that Abba died to save me. And she said, that's the dream that my friend had. And he said that he was tired and that he'd done his work and that he was going to rest. So it's not, I saw a miracle of a man get his own redemption. Nothing to do with me. I was just a pawn. And that's why I say I'm so lucky that I got to go through all this, because I got to write about it. I get to talk about it. I'm unscarred by it. And I actually saw my dad, who in 2011, हम उनका नाम भी नहीं ले सकते थे. आपको भी डर लगता, मुझे भी डर लगता. उनके बेटे होते हुए या एक नॉर्मल पाकिस्तानी होते हुए हम इतना डरते कि हम गलत जगह में नाम लें, कोई बंदा हमें पता नहीं क्या कर दे, यार ये क्या हुआ है, ये तो पता नहीं इन्होंने इस तरह की स्टोरी बना दी है. और आज सारे पाकिस्तान में इसके ऊपर बात हो रही है, क्योंकि आज आप देखते हैं आपके अपने मुसलमान भाइयों पे, चाहे वो क्या है, उसके ऊपर भी यही चीज़ें हो रही हैं. जलसों में जाने के लिए, सियासत करने में, ये करने में ठक बंद कर दिया. So now the conversation is open. Like, you know, I remember I went to meet Khan Saab just before he was arrested, and he said it to me कि मेरे ऊपर भी इन्होंने ये चार्जेस लगा दिए. और तुम्हारा बाप जब उस वक्त बोलता था, वो जमाना नहीं था उसका. उस वक्त अवाम तैयार नहीं थी सुनने के लिए जो उसकी बातें थी. आज सब पाकिस्तानी उसके साथ खड़े होते. You know, that's a big political, biggest political leader in the country.
Have you been approached by People's Party?
No, not like that, but obviously like
because your roots are with them.
Yeah, but you know, like I don't know if it's. I love Bilawal. He's a very close friend of mine, and I support him. Like I would vote for him always. But like, you know, all of them have their own goal, and I don't really believe in supporting a political party anymore. Only because I've seen so much polarization. I have such close friends that are in the PTI, that are supporters in the PTI, that are going through very difficult periods of their life.
Yeah.
And being true to those core roots of the PPP, it's very hard to see. Because मेरे जो वालिद साहब थे ना, उन्होंने हमें कभी ऐसे नहीं बड़ा किया कि तुमने एक मुसलमान पाकिस्तानी PPP वाले की मदद करनी है. वो उन्होंने मुझे कहा था, हमेशा कहते थे कि तुम्हें एक उन्होंने मुझे एक बार बात की थी कि किसी के बुरे वक्त पे हंसना ना. अगर किसी आदमी पे बुरा वक्त आया है ना, तो उसको मॉक ना करना या उस पर हंसना ना, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसे गुरूर की जगह से आती है जो दिस इज समथिंग गॉड हेट्स. You know, when Abba was raising me, there was this feeling of empathy that he like really wanted in his children to have towards other people that he had, because he actually came from very humble beginnings. He didn't inherit anything. His father died when he was young. He made everything himself. So he could see what that could do to the next generation. And so, yeah, I don't believe in this political thing. I believe it polarizes us too much, and it makes like a brother fight a brother. I really believe, like, if, for example, like maybe even like what I'm doing right now, this would be better than maybe if somebody wanted help, or if I could help someone, this would be a better way of doing it than if I was a politician. I think I would get lost in it, consumed in it. I've seen it happen to a lot of good men.
But like most people say, it's in your blood.
Yeah, well.
And blood is thicker than water.
So is business and living the good life.
Where do you see the Shahbaz Taseer 6 years, 7 years ago, and that Shahbaz Taseer that is sitting right now? What's his purpose in life?
Wow, 6-7 years ago, I feel like I was a newborn child. It was so amazing to come back, and then when that was over and reality hit me, it was very difficult, because, you know, time stopped for me, magar kisi aur ke liye waqt nahi ruka. Everybody moved on with their lives at a very fast pace. 4.5 years is a long time. My best friends had children, married. Yeah. My brother and sister were married. Lahore was signal free. Analog phones were over, and these things existed.
You went through a divorce also.
Yeah, I did. I got, you know, that it happens, you know. It happened to Nelson Mandela. Not that I'm would say it, but time being away, you know, it does that, causes distance between people. I think maybe a lot of what you would read is not necessarily the truth of what happened. I would tell you the truth is that so much time apart and so much trauma, one would think should bring you closer, but it brought.
And it's
Also,
tough
by
on
the way,
both,
for my
yeah.
other relationships,
Yeah.
they have also been in very fragile places. Don't be confused about. There's nothing perfect. I've had to work really, really hard
हाँ.
with each relationship.
देखिए, अगर आप 4 साल में 5 साल में इतना बदल सकते हैं, of course people around you,
Yeah.
we change so rapidly, और हमारे इर्द गिर्द circumstances change हो रहे होते हैं and everything. So yes, I can understand कि the person that you were 5 years ago, you're not the same person anymore, and same goes for the people around you. But you found a lovely partner.
I did. And should I tell you something? While I was going through my divorce, it was a bit ugly. I don't like to talk about it because I have a beautiful daughter, and I think sometimes it gets a little. It's fun, but you know, I respect she's a girl in a tough. She has to grow up in a tough country, and I don't want anyone to point fingers. But having said that, as difficult as it was at that time, I stopped writing my story, and I thought, why would people be interested? And now you can just go online and say basically anything you want, and that's the truth, right? And people who don't want to get involved in all of this are guilty and murdered and killed, and I had never seen that before as well.
Yeah.
And somehow there's this selfishness that like, oh my God, you know, like all this happened to me. Why would you say all these things about me? Like, don't you have any concern? And then you realize the only people who really have concern for you are the people that love you and who are with you, right? So you grow and you learn. But when I met Neha, we have an age difference as well. And so I was doing something and she was waiting for me at home. And my draft was lying there. So two funny stories. This is a serious one. The other one is funny. So my rough draft was lying there, and she sat down and she started reading it.
You knew her before?
I met her through a friend, and no, I didn't know her before I got divorced. I met her afterwards, but I just met her and I was inseparable and in love and wanted to marry her immediately. But so she read my draft, and I came home, and she's like, "Why are you not writing this?" So I obviously didn't want to say that, oh, you know, I feel like nobody likes me. And she's like, you know, when I meet you, you are like this really happy and like funny and like very like you have this homely thing about you, which is come from this. But how can you leave this out? How can you people not read this and know this about you? And how did you decide that people shouldn't read it? And really, please, like, finish this story. It was finished. The draft was complete. So then I sat down with my mother and my mamu, and it was a very like healing, like, you know, my mamu died as soon as my book was published. He read it and he was part of the launch, but he died. And so now when my mother and I look at it, we look at it as like, even like there's a piece of him in that book. Because, you know, you don't like, this book is edited by me. The commas there's nothing that anybody did. Every last word is me. And that refining.
You didn't get it doctored?
Nothing. I tried to work with a writer. I tried to work with an editor. I tried to work with a team of editors. Nothing worked. And somewhere my mother told me that, you know, your father wrote a book. And the only thing that I'll tell you, like what he told me was that every writer needs his own situation, but nobody can write for you.
Yeah.
So write it like you speak it and stop being funny. I have this problem where I always try to make you laugh. So she's like, look, man, were you laughing then? So I was like, I was sometimes. She's like, no. Go back to when you were laughing over there, mention that incident.
Humor can be very therapeutic.
Yeah, it is. I always try to tell her. I always try to tell my mother, you know, my humor, there's a story in the book, you know, Muhammad Ali was a very evil man. And I told you Afghanistan when I went to Afghanistan, my world was blown. But very early on in my captivity, एक बार मेरे पास आया, मुझे कहता दुनिया की सबसे खूबसूरत औरतें कहाँ हैं? So for me, that was a trick question because I was like, if you answered it right. So I was like, मुझे नहीं औरतें पसंद. He's like, नहीं बताओ ना यार कहाँ है? मैंने कहा दुनिया को बचाते हैं. I said Brazil. नहीं बहुत दूर है, करीब बताओ. तो I was like, Iran, Persian. I said नहीं काफिर शिये, उनको तो हम लौंडियाँ फतह. मैंने कहा पता नहीं हम कहाँ जाऊँ मैं. So I said okay, मैं इटली में बड़ा, मतलब मैं पूरी जिंदगी इटली गया हूँ, spent beautiful summers with my father there. I grew as a human being. So Italian women, and then मैं बताना चाह रहा था क्यों कि cultural cuisine. Before I could say it, he's like हाँ, जब मैं रोम को फतह करूँगा तो मैं ये जो वैटिकन है इसको अपना हैरम बनाऊंगा और इनकी सारी औरतों को अपनी लौंडियाँ बनाऊंगा. अब it sounds funny, मगर I'd never heard anyone speak like that before. And also I was confused because I remember the first time जब मैं Sistine Chapel देखा था, for me it was a enriching, enlightening experience. And in all my life, I'd never met a man who wanted to burn it down. Never. I'd never met a Muslim, Christian, Hindu, anyone. Until this man. तो जब हम अफगानिस्तान में खड़े हुए थे, सब डाउन थे, उनका भी घर था. तो वो भी मेरे साथ बैठा हुआ था. वो नीचे गाड़ियां खड़ी हुई थी जिनमें हमने बैठ के अफगानिस्तान के अंदर जाना था. तो I looked at him and I was like, रोम उस तरफ है.
That's a bad joke, man. So bad.
And you know, he's a killer. It's not like he's a murderer. He's like one of those guys like trigger happy. He shot me as well. So
I agree with your mother. You shouldn't be funny, man. God,
but I loved it. I was like, you know, if I ever survive, I'm going to tell my grandchildren about this joke. And I tell everyone, I'm like, I did this to Taliban. God. I cracked this joke on him. So, you know, but
the timing was off, man.
The timing was a bit off. But all the torture and all the pain that he put me through, it felt like in that one moment I got him back. I got him back for everything. And it was very healing as well. I was like, you know, oh, look who's dealing with trauma now.
मैं चलो एक जुगत ते मारी. चलो जानते मैं एक जुगत लाती.
जानते एक. नहीं, but it was, I saw the expression on his face and I just thought, you're going to be dealing with a lot of trauma, man. This is all yours from now. But yeah, you know, for me, it's so my mother said you can't be a joker.
Yeah.
You know, write it from that guy who wrote those diaries, who wrote those letters, you know, he has to write this book. So I had to go to a very, very forgotten place and write it.
How long did it take you?
Like the entire process?
Yeah.
3 years. 3 years writing and editing. 3 years of hard work, like really hard work.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that nobody approached you for the film rights.
People have approached me. I kept them to myself. I wanted to do it right, and what I mean by that is, I wanted to write the book, and I wanted to promote it. I wanted people to read it. And I wanted whoever was interested to at least tell me they have read the book. Like I've had some people who've approached me and said, हमने आपके 4 podcasts देखे थे and I think it would be a wonderful movie. But it just shows me that like there's, you know, like I really need them to read the book because no podcast, like you've read the book. So the conversations that we've had are different. They got a little intense, you know.
No.
But it's because you've read the book. And so that's, I wanted to do it.
My whole as I was reading it, because I think visually, so I was just imagining acha ye wala shot ye hoga, iska screenplay ye hoga,
I wrote it like that.
Yeah,
I wanted you
because from that point of view it's very hard to turn that off and just read it like a reader. And I haven't read so many books, but the ones that I do read, it's from a very filmy point of view. Ki acha ye kaun play karega. But I had to actually switch that off.
No, but like, you know, I didn't want you to. I wanted you to try, because it's so intense and graphic that I didn't want you to put it down in a disappoint. Like that is obviously no writer wants that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, you know, you're just like, oh my God, I need a break. And I wanted you to take a break, but your curiosity makes you open it again because you're literally smelling, visualizing. Maybe you can even put a face to Muhammad Ali, his expressions, his anger, his resentment to the world and how it transpired into pain for me.
Because मैं एक दो chapters के बाद मुझे ये हुआ था कि how does this person sleep at peace? Do you still get nightmares?
No. I had one nightmare. I don't think I've ever told anyone about this. So in the beginning, I live in Cavalry.
Yeah.
You've been to my house.
Yeah.
So it's वो ज़रा airport के करीब है. तो अब the problem is because of जहाँ मैं रह रहा था, हमारी ट्रेनिंग ये थी, हमारी मतलब उनकी और मेरी, और उन्होंने मेरी ट्रेनिंग की कि जब भी आपको ड्रोन, जेट या हेलीकॉप्टर की आवाज आती है, there's certain places that we have to go to hide.
Actually, like bunkers,
depending
like
on
bunkers.
Not bunkers, literally in the wilderness.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So there are no bunkers there. हम तो जंगल में हैं, पहाड़ों में हैं. So for example, जेट आया है, भागो जंगल में. अब वहां हमने लाइक बंकर खोदे में, लाइक कब्रें खोदी हुई हैं जिन दरख्तों के नीचे. सो थोड़ा शार्पनल से आप बच जाते हो. वो एक्सप्लोजन ऐसे जाती है, राइट, बट स्प्रेड होती है. जहां होती है अगर वहां ही आप हो तो कोई चांस नहीं है, बट शार्पनल इज अ बिग कॉज ऑफ डेथ एंड इट गोज फॉर kilometers. Now kilometers is a big thing in a radius.
Yeah.
You know, it can just wipe, and sharp one small metal ka tukda that big will take your hand off. You know, if it goes through your neck, you're dead. So jets run into the bunker, cover. Drone run nadi वो छोटी वाटर नहीं होती वो पहाड़ों में, सही है. सो वीव गॉट अ
स्ट्रीम्स, हल्की सी वो जो
स्ट्रीम्स, एग्जैक्टली. वीव गॉट अ फॉइल पेपर, वो यू नो खाना गरम रखने का जो बेक पोटैटो का पेपर होता है, वो बेसिकली आपकी हीट इंसुलेट करता है ना. तो जब ड्रोन उड़ा होता है, ड्रोन हीट रात के वक्त सिर्फ वो इट्स लाइक अ वीडियो गेम.
तो आप फॉइल लेके सोते हैं?
सो नहीं, आप फॉइल लेके पानी में खड़े होते हैं. पानी आपकी हीट ब्रेक करता है और फॉइल उसको ऊपर नहीं जाने देता. तो हर हेलीकॉप्टर जब आता है, आप जहां हैं वहां रहना है, जमीन पे लेट के. यू कैन लीव द हाउस बिकॉज वो लो होता है, उसको आदमी नजर आता है, उसकी जो मशीन गन होती है वो आराम से लाइक इट्स लाइक इतना बड़ा वेपन होता है. इफ इट गोज थ्रू यू अपार्ट. सो ट्रेनिंग होती है, बट बेसिक इस ट्रेनिंग की होती है कि आप जब सोए होते हो, डीप स्लीप हर बंदे को आती है, उसमें आपको इस तरह उठना है और निकलना है. You know, this shit is not part of it, right? अब मैं एक untrained, cavalry ground का privileged burger पता नहीं मुझे क्या ये लफ्ज़ मम्मी डैडी, वैसे तो I'd love to
नहीं मम्मी डैडी हैं.
तो अब इस बंदे की ट्रेनिंग इस काम में करना बहुत इंटेंस होती है, और दुनिया के सबसे इंटेंस लोग कर रहे हैं. अब कुछ ट्रेनिंग्स ऐसी होती हैं वो हो जाती हैं, और वो ब्रेक कैसे करनी है मुझे क्या पता था. मैंने वापस आना है, तो मैं सोया हुआ हूँ, और पहला कमर्शियल पीआई का जहाज आया, एंड आई वोक अप इन द मिडल ऑफ द नाइट एंड आई रैन इनटू माय विंडो and then I mean, I consulted a specialist because I was like, I think I have PTSD. So they were like, so what happened? So I told them, so they're like, जब आप उठे थे, आप किधर थे? I was like, मैं अपने बिस्तर में था. They're like, why'd you run into the window? I was like, भागना तो मेरी ट्रेनिंग है, मैं तो उठता ही भागते में हूँ. So that's why window इधर था, तो I ran into it. They're like, but आप उधर नहीं थे? I was like, नहीं. And they're like, how long did it take you to realize you are safe? I was like, I realized while running into the window that I just, this was uncalled for.
Yeah, but that's muscle memory.
It's muscle memory. So she said, we can untrain you. The best news that I can give you right now is you don't have PTSD. But the bad news is you're trained to run into windows.
Bad news is you're
Yeah. So I had to fix it. Now I don't. And now, I mean, honestly, I'll sleep through an explosion. Nothing will wake me up. But the one bad dream. So while I was there, my dreams used to haunt me. And every time I would dream, it was so clear that I could smell my home, and their voices were perfect, and the scene was long. Like dreams are like somehow short and you chase them. These would continue and continue, and the scenario was more realistic, and I'd wake up in jail. To a point that I was so destroyed by them that I started praying, please make me forget these people because they're haunting me. I wake up crying every day because I can't have this. And it's so clear. Why are you doing this to me? And then one day I was here and, now life is beautiful.
Alhamdulillah.
And then I was dreaming and I was somewhere in the jungle or something. And I woke up in that sleeping bag. We had sleeping bags. So I looked out of my sleeping bag and Muhammad Ali was sitting there. And he just looked at me and he's like, ye sab khab tha. As in all of this freedom that you've been experiencing was actually your dream. And in my dream, I suddenly realized how real my dreams were. And I got petrified. My life left me. Like, did I just,
imagine all that.
And I'd had my daughter and I'd had my son and I just, he was like, it's not that though they're not real. You were dreaming. And anyways, I woke up and then and I always remind myself to be very grateful. It was a small reminder of how, I spent so much time being grateful for the second life that I sometimes wonder if I even have time to be traumatized by what happened to me because I'm so grateful.
Alhamdulillah. And your journey is not only inspirational, but it's awakening. There's so many things we take for granted in our lives, the little things, and especially I didn't talk about your life before this because I'm more interested in your life at the moment. We all read the news, we all know the sacrifices your family made and everything. I was more interested in you, how that affected you and the people around you, because I come from a family where family means everything to us.
Yeah.
And जब कोई भी किसी family का फर्द जाता है, उसका loss बाकियों को किस तरह affect करता है, that was more concerning for me. I am going to finish your book now, so don't worry about it. And I will call you 2 years down the line because I want to talk more about you as a father. I'm going to be looking forward to you becoming what your father legacy was all about. And in an interview you said, I want to own a part of that legacy, and that stuck with me because my friend, you belong to a legacy, and that legacy is no short of a miracle itself.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Inshallah, 2 years down the line, I want to see you owning that part of legacy.
Well, not in politics, hopefully.
Well, then you will be in politics. It's in your blood. And inshallah, I think we give politics a bad name, but we need people like your father. We need people like you. We need people who have sacrificed so much for this country. And sooner or later, you will come into it. But you will come as a better man.
Inshallah. And
no more excuse me questions for you. I specifically said I'm not going to take this to that funny side because me and you both are funny. Off camera, we are very funny.
No, if you want some funny torture stories, I got
no. Bad jokes.
I got some fun.
That's so bad, lame jokes, man.
Frank Sinatra and a couple
of
God,
no, nothing like that. But thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you. It's just I can't believe I got to do this with you. It's life is
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
This is what makes life
Alhamdulillah.
So much fun.
5 years before, you never thought this was going to be. 5 years before, I had no idea that I'm going to be interviewing you, thinking that I'm going to learn something from you.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I did.
I can't believe that you're even saying that.
No,
I still remember that little 12, 13-year-old. I don't even know if I had permission to go to your first concert. It was at a university. There was a stage and I was in the mosh pit. And this is...
No, my concert days are back, man. I'm not going to be headbanging because
by the way, I was having dinner with Fawad and I told him you guys need to why aren't you doing it? And he's like, I can't even sing. I was like, come on,
God,
man.
we're too old now. No. I think our time has gone. I love the new music that's coming out. They're far more talented people. But yes, if there's a big paycheck, me and Fawad will think about it. हम लोग देखते से हुए हाँ अगर कोई अच्छा स्पॉन्सर आए और बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे हुए तो हाँ एक गाने के लिए वापस आ जाएंगे. But for now, I am enjoying my podcast. I love to learn from people, and because of this, it has given me this route to talk to someone like you, and that's more important for me at this point.
I've been following you and just love being here. It's so cool. I feel like, I have my own checklist in life.
And I love
So
that.
I
We're gonna have a cigar soon
Yeah.
when you're feeling better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sorry
me and you are
about
gonna
this.
sit down. Yeah, but thank you very much. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a brave man and a brave story. Or I think the one thing that we can learn from this is not to take smaller things for granted. And family is everything at the end of the day. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
अपना ख्याल रखें, पाकिस्तान का ख्याल रखें. अल्लाह हाफिज़.